Picture this. You are assigned an important task to complete Monday morning, and Sunday you tell yourself that you're going to get an early start. However, as time passes by, you find yourself scrolling on social media, binge watching your favorite TV show, and even cleaning the whole house. Sound familiar? It's okay. We've all have been in the clutches of what is called procrastination. My name is Brianna, and I'm a clinical social worker that practices rational emotive behavioral therapy, REBT for short. In this video, I will show how I use rational emotive behavioral therapy to address the 3 major beliefs that causes procrastination. And towards the end, I will provide tips and tricks to help you accomplish the goals that you want in your life. Let's get started tomorrow. I'm kidding. Let's start now. People are not really sure what procrastination is, but they are very familiar of when they are doing it. When we procrastinate, we are opting for short-term gain for long-term pain. Simply put, that we would rather experience very comfortable situations rather than experiencing hard situations. And when we do that, we find ourselves facing some very important consequences that oftentimes can be negative. But why do we do that? Well, we are human, first and foremost. We like instant gratification. We like our comforts, and anytime we feel uncomfortable or we're given tasks that may be a little bit intimidating, we tend to avoid rather than do. Of course, it's important for me to explain what rational emotive behavioral therapy is. It's a cognitive behavioral therapy that basically believes that activating events does not cause our emotional or behavioral distress, but is what we're telling ourselves about the event. So what does that look like? If you are assigned a task to do Monday morning and Sunday you find yourself procrastinating, the task itself isn't what's causing your procrastination, but is what you're telling yourself about the task. Procrastination is considered the behavioral consequence, and the beliefs I'm going to introduce to you in this video is what primarily going to be the reason that causes your procrastination. So again, it's not the task itself that causes you to procrastinate, but it is what you're telling yourself, your belief system about the task. Rational emotive behavioral therapy has identified 3 of the different beliefs that causes procrastination. 80% of the time is low frustration tolerance. That is when we are magnifying the unpleasantness of a certain task or the goal at hand. We are telling ourselves that we're too tired, we're too busy, that we would rather be doing something else. The second belief is ego anxiety. Sometimes we are basing our total self-acceptance on the outcome or other people's judgments. That if we, for whatever reason, fail at the task at hand, it will prove that we're failures. The last one, which is kind of a funny one, but sometimes we procrastinate out of anger. We believe that procrastinating is going to punish other people or the world. Now that we know the 3 main beliefs, now it's important to know, how do we challenge them? How do we dispute them? Well, let's look at low frustration tolerance again. Remember, we are magnifying the unpleasantness of the task at hand. So what does it look like when we put things into perspective? Are we really too busy to go to the gym? Are we really too busy to complete paperwork? Are we really too tired to get up at the time that we desire to get up? No. We're tired, and yes, we can be busy, but anytime you hear yourself saying you're too much of something, that is when you lose. So, when you find yourself saying that you're too busy to do something, simply ask yourself, well, if I was given $2,000 to do it in a very busy day, would I be able to find time? And the answer is yes. You'll probably invent a time machine and go back in time and do it yesterday. Now, let's look at ego anxiety. If we are basing our total self-acceptance on judgment or outcomes, well, it makes sense for us to detach from that, to remove our sense of self away from the outcome or other people's judgments. At the end of the day, the outcome can be within our control, but we might fail, and people we can't control, and so they might judge us for the things that we're accomplishing. You might write a book and no one likes it. Does that mean you're a total failure because your book didn't do well? No, it means you just didn't write a good book. You can either be intimidated by that or you can challenge yourself. Now, let's look at anger and resentment. We are pretty irrational human beings if we believe that our suffering is hurting someone else. If I choose not to do my homework assignment because I don't like my professor, is my professor really going to care that I didn't complete it? I don't think so. If anything, I fail the class or I get a bad grade because I don't like the professor. Make it make sense. All of these beliefs is that they're completely irrational. Hence, REBT is rational emotive behavioral therapy. Sometimes our irrational thinking can cause us to have self-defeating behaviors such as procrastination. And it's important to note that because as you try to practice thinking more rationally, you'll have a more desirable outcome. As you work on disputing these beliefs that cause your procrastination, you can also try these helpful solutions. One is breaking a big task into smaller steps. You're less likely to stress yourself out when you break a large task into small pieces. You'll also be able to identify what could you prioritize. If you're unable to figure out what you can prioritize, simply ask yourself, what is the one thing that I'm making myself the most anxious about? And I will suggest you do that thing first. You will find that by putting the item that you make yourself most anxious about last, you're never going to get to it. If you didn't get to it now, you're definitely not going to get to it later. So it's better to do the thing you hate the most and get that out of the way so that when you do the things that you enjoy, you feel a bit more relaxed. So another helpful thing that you can do is just give yourself 20 minutes to start. If you give yourself 20 minutes to start, you find that what you are starting was actually not as bad to begin with, and that you can go ahead and continue on if you want to. A lot of people believe that they need to be stimulated or motivated in order to address a certain task or goal, but it's simply through discipline where you just start. You allow yourself 20 minutes to start, and you might lose track of time. And here's a bonus one that my mentor actually shared with me. He basically suggested that if you have no idea where to start, such as cleaning your room or cleaning your house and you don't know which room to start, simply get a hat. All the items are at the same level where you make yourself anxious over. Just draw from a hat and then do what's on the piece of paper. It eliminates your indecisiveness. Feel free to comment below if any one of the three beliefs come up for you often and how you have implemented your personal tips and tricks to overcome procrastination. If you made it this far into the video, thank you. I'm very passionate about sharing rational emotive behavioral therapy to others, so please like and subscribe, but most importantly, share the video if you believe that there are other people who may need help overcoming their procrastination. Until next time, good luck.